If you're someone that's going through anxiety right now and you're experiencing what are physical symptoms, so what is basically body sensations, heart palpitations, brain fog, tightness in the chest, maybe even to the point of dissociating, right? You feel numb, you feel not present. You maybe go on the other flip side of things where you have anxiety attacks, you have panic attacks, basically anything to do with what is the physicality of anxiety and how you feel in the body. Maybe you're going through all that and you've tried a bunch of stuff. So as the board kind of says, the old way of doing things, where you've done EMDR, you've had medication, you've done CBT therapy, hypnotherapy, breath work or breathing exercises, meditations, mindfulness, things like that, maybe even journaling. You may have tried all of this and yet it's still there and you don't know why or you don't know what to do, but I want you to know that that is not your fault. You simply are just using the wrong approach and there is a fix. And just so you're aware, this is the second video of a 5-part video series in which the last video we went over an overview of what exactly this series is about and an overview over what is the psychosomatic conditioning method and how that helps people overcome anxiety, my clients, and how I developed that myself through my own lived experiences. Because for those of you that do not know, my name is Kevin Sage and I've been through anxiety. And I've been through it not just once, but 4 times in my own life, separate occasions, separate symptoms and qualities of anxiety or trauma even. And with that, relevant to today's video, yes, I know exactly what these things are, right? I know what it is to have tightness in the chest, waking up first thing in the morning, no idea why, feeling sensitized, just my whole body. I know what brain fog is when I used to go through my stress cycles too. I know what it is to have anxiety attacks, panic attacks. Did I mention dissociation? Yeah, I think I did. But if not, then I know what it is to be dissociated, right, as well. Actually, that's how my anxiety journey first started. So instead of going through what is like an arousal or an activation kind of energy, I went into a shutdown response. So I was numb. I didn't feel, I didn't even know I was in it because this was really, really early on in my journey. But I've been through my fair share of, again, the physical symptoms, the physicality of what is anxiety. And yes, it always does feel like it's random. But what I want to do in this video is basically explain to you what is somatic reprogramming, which is a part of my methodology, one of the pillars in my methodology that is more body related and is the exact answer that you're looking for when you're trying to eliminate, again, that physical element to anxiety, no matter how small, no matter how big. When you actually look at things from a body perspective, from a nervous system perspective, the physicality components of what is anxiety can honestly disappear in, like, I'm literally not lying, like minutes. Like in my own practice, when I have felt wired or anxious, I can deactivate that fight-flight cycle within like 10 minutes, right? I have been able to do that. Maybe it could be 20 minutes, maybe it could be 30 minutes, right? For myself and for my clients in general. But the fact is it can be done fast. It doesn't take time. You don't have to sit with it and just accept that this is how you feel. We will get into this where we start explaining what's going on again at that nervous system level and what you need to do so that finally you can just, basically stop it within minutes, as I said, like generally within what is one single moment, one session. So let's actually discuss what it is. What is anxiety from a physiological perspective? Because this is what people get wrong a lot and they keep on thinking that anxiety is something of the mind, when it's not. It really stems, and the primary root of it is actually in the body. When we are going through anxiety, the reason we're going through it is because basically in the past, you've been through trauma. Now that's not to scare you, that's not to necessarily say that it's something really traumatic that you have to have gone through in your past. It's not. It's just life. Certain stresses, tensions, emotions that basically weren't processed in that moment in time. They were unprocessed. You just didn't feel safe in the body, or you didn't know how to handle it in that moment in time. And therefore these things, these tensions, these stresses, they build up a stress response in the body. Again, there's a physiological survival stress response that occurs every single time that we go through moments of tension in our life for various reasons. Like this could be emotional reasons for sure, with like whatever, with issues in relationships with your parents. It could be physical impact trauma as well, like something like in a car crash, right? That is still trauma. It still affects the body. Your body then goes into that kind of fight, flight, or freeze, depending on the situation. And it's just trying to basically help you survive, right? That's the primary thing. And it's just going through that stress response to be like, whoa, I'm ready for whatever's going to be, handed to me. Like, let's go, right? Again, it's fight flight. That's what it's for. Of course, in today's modern age, a lot of that fight flight, a lot of that stress can also be caused because of perceived threats, especially when it comes to fears or phobias. Like, again, not everything has to be a real threat. Some things can be perceived threats. And the body, it doesn't matter. If it's real or if it's not, if it's imagined, it does not matter. Your body still goes through all that tension, all that stress, that adrenaline, that charge. So all in all, that keeps on happening. And the thing is, the body's not meant to be going through this chronically. So at some point, all that stress, all that survival stress specifically, that survival stress, again, it's our survival physiology that's going through this. It basically accumulates all of it until basically it gets overwhelmed and the system just kind of goes, it kind of freaks out. Your nervous system, it gets overwhelmed, it gets sensitized. And because of that, this is what then gives rise to anxiety and the physical symptoms, because ultimately it's your nervous system that has been overwhelmed. Because again, all of this unprocessed trauma, aka survival stress, that is still trapped in the body, impacting the nervous system. And therefore, it results in all the physical symptoms. No matter what you're going through, like there is always the component of the body in it. And that's why you feel tense as well. With anxiety, you're tense, you're wired, you're switched on. Like it just seems like it never turns off. That's because the nervous system is just overwhelmed and it's just there. It's always on the edge, right? And so you're very sensitive to anything that now occurs in your life as well. But if we understand that it's this stress response, that is this survival energy that's in the body, well then how do we fix anxiety? We just need to get that survival energy out. That in the simplest form, that's it. We are wired because there's a lot of pent up stuff in the body. If we release that from the body, Lord behold, you're gonna be good. And that's exactly what somatic reprogramming is about. And it also explains why this is why you don't necessarily have to have any thoughts or any kind of thing that you're focusing on in your day to feel the way you do. You could generally have like a normal day, and even I've been through this in terms of like anxiety, trauma, like everything can be fine. Nothing. Good career, good life, people that love you, like you're fine, and yet you still feel the way you do. This is the reason why. Because it's not about the mind, as I said, it's all trapped in the body. And that survival energy, again, your nervous system that is wired on, it needs assistance, but not because of what's happening or not because it's related to anything in the present world necessarily, right? Nor am I saying you have to go into the past either to look into what exactly happened. It's at present, just again, it's overwhelmed. It still has all this junk inside of it, unprocessed emotions, tensions, stresses. This is just what's basically forming or giving rise to, again, that anxiety that you have and all these physical symptoms. So the problem is, let's now look at the old way of doing things. Let's see all of this stuff that we said, hey, this is meant to help us, okay? And we'll go for it one by one, now understanding where that anxiety is coming from, okay? Now, EMDR, again, meant to help with trauma, but it's meant to help with specific memories of trauma as well, okay? So this is definitely something that has been more effective for people with PTSD as an example, right? But it looks to a specific memory in order to achieve its results. But as I kind of explained right now, it's not about the past. It's not about the memory of anything that's occurred. It's just what's already in the body at present. So when you look at EMDR, this is effectively why for some individuals it does not work, because it's not about any memories of the past. There's no trauma of the past that people can remember necessarily. It's not about that. That's why this, in the few cases, is ineffective, right? Like this is, again, it does help quite a few people, especially with PTSD, but when it comes to anxiety, just like plain anxiety that most of the people here are watching have, then it's not something that is really helpful when there's nothing to look into. Like there's just no point. And this kind of goes into, again, like CBT and therapy. Same thing, if in the body it's all trapped survival stress, then why is talking about it gonna do anything? That energy, that fight, flight, or freeze, you might be in a freeze response as well, has to do with the body. So talking about things, looking into the past about things, completely useless. It just doesn't help at all. Medication, let's explain medication. So the reason why medication feels a bit better is because you numb it. You're numbing everything that you feel, but this is why as soon as people come off medication too, they feel everything again. And so again, it's all stored in the body. It hasn't gone anywhere, like nothing's been done with it. And so as soon as you get rid of the medication, so you no longer have that numbing sensation, you feel everything again. So this is why medication, honestly, it's not great. And just FYI, in order to release things from the body, you need to feel. So actually numbing the body is counterintuitive to the approach of, again, releasing, because to release, you need to feel, you need to process, which I will get into, but that's another reason why medication is not good, because it literally impedes you to recover. When we have hypnotherapy says that it's supposed to reprogram the subconscious mind, but the problem is, again, when we have things that have to do with the body, the nervous system, your mind can be really calm. I've literally had clients like this that their mind is calm. There is no stresses in their present day-to-day life. Like everything is totally cool. The reason that they have physical symptoms or sensations or whatever it may they be going through, the reason they have it again is because this is all from the body. So trying to hypnotize yourself and relax yourself, like you can literally be relaxed and still go through physical symptoms. Like it doesn't matter, because again, it just all comes from the body. So hypnotherapy, that's the reason why it doesn't work. Now breath work, let's get into something that's more like body-based, a more body-based practice. When I said that this is of the body, and that this is survival energy in the body, the whole intention is to release, to channel out that energy. Because once you channel it out, it offloads the system. Your system will feel better. Your system will then be able to stabilize and calm down, right? But as a byproduct of the release. When we're doing breath work, this is a very structured manner of trying to not release something necessarily, but to even calm things down sometimes. I know some, like with some practitioners, they do this to actually, yes, have a release and people cry and all this. But the problem with that, and this is, again, even though I talk about somatic reprogramming, which is soma is of the body, like a body-based approach, we are looking to do this in an intuitive manner, not a structured manner. Because as I always say to people, what you really want is you want to allow the body to release, to channel this energy out the way it wants to, not the way you think it needs to. And so what happens with breath work is that it's very structured. It's breathe in, breathe out in a very systematic way, but that takes it away from, again, what the body needs in that moment in time. I'm going to cover this in a bit more detail, but breath work, again, this is why, because it's so structured, it actually limits the body on how it can channel energy out and how it can release. As well with breathing exercises, same thing. Breathing exercises, literally the intention is to calm it down. You do not want to calm it down because, again, this is a release. This is things that are pent up. So when you calm things down, what you're actually doing is that you're suppressing again. You are literally suppressing everything again, which is a definite no-no. And then meditation, I mean, same thing. You get the picture, right? Meditation, you're meant to be in the present, calm, all this. When you're triggered, that is that energy trying to get out, right? But then you're trying to always calm it down. So it goes back into this thing of like, what we've been taught is to calm and suppress it every single time. But now that you know that the root cause is actually, it's actually just, again, unprocessed tension, stresses, emotions that are trapped in the body that need to be channeled out, then this makes no sense. It literally starts to be like, well, yeah, it makes no sense. And this is why I said to you, this is why I can discharge the energy and get rid of the anxiety that I'm feeling in that moment within like 10 to 20 minutes. Because I know I'm not meant to calm things down. I'm meant to actually channel things out. And so that's the problem with these old methodologies and how, again, it's very backwards and no one explains this. So what I really teach within what is somatic reprogramming is how to leverage the body to channel this energy out, to channel, again, emotions, tensions, stresses that have been just locked up in the body all this time. This is, again, trauma, but from a physiological perspective, not the experience of what you've gone through. And this is why I explain to people, again, what I was mentioning before with the breathwork example, is that it's all about an intuitive approach. So the example I always like to give is much like normal people, everyday life people, where when you experience some stress, like work stress, someone tells you bad news, or it could be family problems or whatever it could be, in that moment in time when you have stress, the stress comes, you hear about it, and then what do normal people do? They go, they sigh, right? That sigh, if you notice, is the body actually releasing, channeling through that tension. So the body can do this. The body knows how to channel or release tension, just that we usually stop it. In the example of the sighing, just imagine if you couldn't sigh. When you've received that tension, there is a buildup. You'll feel like the reason you sigh is because there is a buildup, but you are able to just channel it out. If you couldn't do that, how uncomfortable, how tense, wired, anxious would you feel if you just couldn't actually channel that out? So what I teach people to do is I teach them to leverage the body so they can release this energy. And that could be done through many ways. In terms of the sigh example, I'm not saying you could sigh your way to recovery. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just letting you understand the mechanism behind it, right? Because same principle with emotions. If you notice, when you have a good cry, yeah, it's not nice during, but when you do cry after, you feel a bit lighter, right? Again, the body does that to offload tensions, emotions, experiences that it's just like, it just needs to regulate itself. But that's how it does it. It regulates itself by basically going into the uncomfortable. Like even the sigh, tension, you don't notice the tension because it's so short, but there is tension, and then it's released. Crying, you're in the moment, longer session, you're crying, but after you do it, like you do feel better. So this is the same principle. And when you understand how to do this for yourself through breath, through movement, through emotion, through sensations that are felt, this is all channeling, right? With breath, again, it's not about controlling it. It's even letting it do what it needs to do, even to the extent that you can hyperventilate, right? But that's okay because it's channeling the energy out. When it comes to emotions, yes, it's not just crying. You don't cry yourself to recover, not necessarily. It's still good. Like if you need a good cry, like do it. But what I'm saying here is that it could be anger, it could be guilt, it could be shame. So many emotions that again we repress, that these are the things that cause inner conflicts and inner tensions within the body that give rise to anxiety. Anxiety at the end of the day, yeah, it's because there is tension in the body. And when it comes to, again, sensations, a lot of people try to ignore, fear, resist, avoid everything that is uncomfortable in the body. And so they keep on ignoring it or trying to distract themselves from it in their day-to-day, especially with their busy go, work life, or with children, wherever it may be. But the more we distract ourselves from feeling what we're feeling, the more basically it just keeps on being bottled up. And so you will never recover. So the whole point of somatic reprogramming is to tune back into the body, to be able to feel, connect with the very same things that, again, we try to normally avoid. The very same feelings, sensations, emotions that we try to avoid are the very same feelings, sensations, and emotions we need to feel to actually recover. But a lot of people ignore this. And then even if they do these things and do release, again, it's a very structured way, kind of like the breath work that I was showing you. And then it's like, no, they never tap into what's actually needed to discharge the energy correctly. But this is intuitive. It's a skill for sure that needs to be built to learn how to basically just connect with everything again and learn to follow the body's lead, not the mind. And that's the most crucial part, because again, this is not a think your way out of anxiety. This is feel your way out of anxiety and allow what's inside of you to basically be purged out effectively. Once you do that, you'll feel that the system, the nervous system, it literally just calms down by itself. This is always because we are trying to actually take things to a natural peak. We actually want things to escalate, to be felt more, and then your body just does what it needs to do. And then things just calm down, but they calm down as a byproduct. Not because you forced the calm, but because you actually just tuned in and you stuck with what was being felt. Now, there is a caveat to this, because ultimately, in some instances, yes, this can become very overwhelming. I will say that right now. This is not a thing of like, it's easy all the time. It's not. I've been through my moments of like, I had to stop the practice because the emotions or feelings or sensations that I'm feeling, yeah, it can be extremely overwhelming, and the body can only do so much. So there is a structured step-by-step approach of this for sure. Just I want you to understand that, because at the end of the day, yes, your body, when you're releasing, you're going through, again, another stress response. And that can be very heavy in the moment in time. And then there are things of like, when you start feeling things first time round, more things start being felt. And so again, there is a slow and steady approach to this, right? I'm not saying one release is going to cure everything. It's more like we structure things so that, you understand how to just process and let go of these things bit by bit. And eventually you get into the bigger releases for sure. And that's not even everyone has to have bigger releases, to be fair. Just, yeah, like not everyone does. It could be the smallest. And this is why it's so nuanced, right? Obviously, I'm just explaining this all conceptually, but it's very nuanced. Like there's so many ways and variations and ways of expressing and channeling that energy. No one person's the same. And this is why this approach is so effective, actually. It is because when you're doing it intuitively, you are tuning into your specific way of channeling that energy, your specific way. Because literally with clients, what makes one person feel better can actually make another person feel worse. And we don't want that, right? So everyone's different. And this is why, again, within this methodology, it's powerful because it relies on your intuition, your way of feeling things, and your way of doing it. So ultimately, that is what somatic reprogramming is. It's basically a releasing of all those tensions, stresses, emotions, all of that, so that basically the nervous system can just calm down as a byproduct. Now, I will say this as well, this incorporates a layer of safety too, which I'll touch into the next video of this series. But safety is key here, because if you just release and you're panicking and you're freaking out about releasing, then this just leads to more panic and more freaking out, right? So there is a method to the madness, if you will, right? Because otherwise, if you are fearful or you feel unsafe and you try to do these things, then it can just end up feeling like you are, you go through a setback instead. But in a nutshell, yes, no matter what kind of anxiety or the physicality of anxiety you're going through, physical symptoms, again, brain fog, racing heart, tightness in the chest, dissociations, panic attacks, anxiety attacks, literally all of it. Anything to do with the body when it comes to anxiety, feeling wired on edge, like it just, like that constant, tension, it's all solved by somatic reprogramming. It's all solved by a body-based approach, an intuitive body-based approach. And when you do that in a safe, structured manner, then this is how you fix it. This is how it all goes away. I did have a client, Mita, right? She was a perfect example of, again, the intricacies of this, because she had no stresses in life. She had gone hypnotherapy, and that still didn't take away the physical symptoms. Her mind calmed down, she said, but the physical symptoms were just constantly still there. And she was calm. Again, there's nothing going on. She doesn't feel anxious necessarily at all. It's just she had the physical symptoms. So again, the solution, it's not the mind, it's not hypnotherapy, it's not trying to tackle these things. The answer's in the body. But even in the body, she's actually a client that there was no big release. So there's nuances to this, but I want you to understand that this, no matter the situation you're going through, is the answer. Obviously, the bigger the anxieties you have, the more effective you're going to feel that this just offloads everything. That kind of wraps up this training video. This is how you eliminate all the symptoms. There is a solution, so don't worry, you can fix this for sure. Now, that wraps up this video. We will now be going into the next training video, which is actually to do with the mind. So the racing thoughts, the constant worrying, overthinking, catastrophizing, intrusive thoughts, all of that, anything to do with, again, this mind just going on non-stop. We're going to now visit that in the next video on how to overcome that as well.